Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about the CGI in She-Hulk, and it's been a point of contention ever since the first trailer was released. A lot of people who were seemingly excited for this show, the first thing they commented on was, what's up with this CGI? And if we're to believe the She-Hulk director, Kat Coiro, then this is because, well, I want to read this because I want to get it correct. This is because in terms of the CGI being critiqued, I think that has to do with our culture's belief in its ownership of women's bodies.
Oh, no, 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 no.
This director is such an activist that she believes her own bullshit. And that's what this is. And you absolutely know this is bullshit because this is from August 6th. But let's look previously at another argument that she made. That was that the She-Hulk team defended Marvel VFX artists over CGI problems and alleged workplace issues. Yes, this is a known issue. The She-Hulk attorney-at-law team is coming to the defense of allegedly overworked Marvel visual effects artists saddled with the rigors of the MCU and also criticisms of bad CGI. During the summer TCA press tour ahead of the Disney Plus series premiere on August 18th, Tatiana Maslany, writer-creator Jessica Gao, and director Kat Coiro say they stand with any VFX artists who are feeling pressured. This is interesting. So I kind of have to ask myself, which one is it? Because I can say that, for example, this picture maybe doesn't look too bad, but this picture and this scene particularly did catch my eye. And about 2 seconds after you see this image, you see another image where the lighting on the hair is just all sorts of bad. I don't know how else to describe it. The lighting on her face compared to the lighting of the person who is right in front of her, and the stark contrast between both of these people who are in the frame is what gives it that uncanny valley. Look, I don't know this lady and I don't think I own her body, but I do think that the visual effects in this video aren't great. Just like I don't own the guy's body who's in the same picture, and I don't think I own it, but I can see that his body and I can see the natural lighting on his face compared to the natural lighting, compared to the visual effects lighting on her face and hair, and the two are clearly not the same. So look, I'm not even talking about her body, I'm talking about her hair in one scene. I also don't believe I own her hair, but I do believe that I can look at something and go, that's good or that's bad. Like, it has nothing to do with this sort of crazy activist position that the director has taken, that men feel like they have ownership of women's bodies. We're not even commenting on her body or how her body looks. We're commenting on how the visual effects look. We're not saying, well, some people are saying that they think she's too thin, that she should have more muscles. And that's really what they're saying there, is they're making an argument that they just want to see the She-Hulk that they saw in the comic books, right? They want to see the very muscly She-Hulk. And they chose a different direction, and I can respect that. That's not what we're talking about here. Over the years, there have been many different versions of She-Hulk, and people may have expected one thing and gotten something else. Ultimately, this strikes me as fan preference and not some kind of ownership thing. That's a difference of opinion in should they have gone with someone who looks like a bodybuilder, or should they have gone with someone who just looks very fit and muscular. And obviously they chose someone who looks fit and muscular. Okay, I don't actually have a problem with that myself. Maybe that will look good, but what definitely does not look good right now is the visual effects. Next up, we get the other argument from all of our detractors that say, well, how do you know that this, when you see a trailer or for something, how do you know that this thing is going to be bad? How do you know it? Because maybe it's actually going to be good. Look, you're fucking gaslighting us. Your argument is shit. Just like this fucking meme right here. Why are you shitting on my plate? How do you know it's shit? it isn't even out yet. Because some things we just know. When we see a trailer which is supposed to give us an indication of what the show is about, and we see poor CGI, we see poor storytelling in a trailer, and we see certain, let's just say, messages and narratives being emphasized in the trailer. And honestly, you should go in and there should be, I'm not saying there shouldn't be any of that stuff. I'm saying you should see a story being communicated in the trailer. And then when you go to see that story, there's a social message in it. Then, I see a second level of social message. Again, this boils back down to the meme that I saw recently from Star Trek. And it was Kirk saying, why is Star Trek political all of a sudden? And then you see the two characters, the two black and white characters standing next to each other. And if anyone knows the original series, they know that these two black and white characters were fighting against each other. All of them on their home planet were fighting against each other, these two factions. And Kirk and the rest of the crew can't understand it. They look at them and they say, we don't understand, you're both black and white. And one guy goes, no, I'm white on the left side and black on the right. He's white on the right side and black on the left. We're opposites of each other. We're completely different. And the whole point of that commentary, that social commentary, was to display and highlight the absurdity of judging people based on a color. These people are both the same color. It's just switched on opposite sides. That doesn't mean a damn thing, right? You're both black and white at the end of the day. And it was a commentary, obviously, on racism, a social commentary, and that's fine. But now what Star Trek has become, and what this meme said was, you were there, and they showed the picture of these black and white guys. Again, that is social commentary. That is not politics. What we see now in Star Trek is politics, absolute political bullshit, and we don't see this strong social commentary. Again, if you want to see this done correctly, watch the Orville Season 3, and you will see wonderful, powerful storytelling with subtle, not so subtle sometimes, social commentary in there. But first and foremost, everything is character and story driven. And then as the season and the stories in the season unfold, then you see the social commentary that is being made. And it's actually really well done. I like this comment too. Your CGI just sucks at Disney Marvel. Just like your D+ shows, the only cultural problem is your internalized creative bankruptcy. And that is basically another common critique here, is that somehow people who don't like these shows are a cultural problem. We are problematic people because we look at a show and go, the show is not done very well. Well, look, it's not because we hate women, because the same group of people who don't like She-Hulk so far aren't big fans of Thor Love and Thunder either. Now, I get it. Their Thor Love and Thunder does have some females in it. I guess there's some to do about what's her name's muscles. I don't really get it that much either. Like, I agree she could have actually made the effort to put on muscle and work out and exercise, but obviously she did not, and they did it in post. Clearly those are not her actual muscles. Whatever. She-Hulk star Jamila Jamil defends Marvel fans. Normally, they're right. So She-Hulk attorney-at-law actor Jamila Jamil has come to the defense of Marvel's fans against the bad rap they have received online. While at San Diego Comic-Con, Jamila explained why she thinks much of the criticism Marvel fans receive is unwarranted. I think they get a bad rap sometimes online because they're very passionate and they have a lot of opinions, the actor said during an interview. But if they weren't so passionate, if they didn't have all those opinions, Marvel maybe wouldn't be evolved to what it is now without the fans. So we have them to think, even if they give us tough love sometimes, normally they're right. And that's really what this boils down to. People are saying, hey, this thing doesn't look that great here, or maybe this doesn't look that great. And that's all we're saying in this. She-Hulk, at the end of the day, when I watched the trailer, a lot of the comedy didn't hit for me, and I didn't think the CGI was that great. I also noticed the fourth wall break, and it didn't really do it for me. And then there was all the woke stuff of her being better at every single thing, which was just actually silly and annoying because it's not reasonable to expect that yet again, because she's a woman, she's automatically better at everything compared to Bruce Banner, who's been the Hulk for many years. Now, I will say, again, this is a well-known issue with the CGI, and just to document that here, we see this. I've had coworkers break down and start crying. VFX artist claims Marvel Studios underpaid and overworks its artists. In another article on Collider, VFX community slams Marvel Studios over working conditions. And finally, in this one, even the team itself that produced this and was sort of, claiming some other things like people thinking they have claim over bodies of women or whatever bullshit, activist bullshit they're spewing, initially said that, yeah, She-Hulk team defends their Marvel VFX artists over CGI problems and alleged workplace issues. This is a known issue. So let's just accept what really is going on here, and that's that we have VFX artists and we have a VFX heavy TV show. And there's nothing wrong with them coming out to say, yeah, we're seeing what you're seeing, and we're going to try and rework this, and we're going to try and give more time to these VFX artists. But clearly, because this show, a TV show, is so VFX heavy, we need to give them more time. Keep in mind, these TV shows, I don't know, they're going to be, 30 minutes to an hour? If they are all an hour, and there's 8 of them, that's 8 hours compared to a movie which only has somewhere between 2 to 2.5 hours. That's a lot of fucking work. All right, what do you think of all this BS around the She-Hulk director Kat Coiro blaming criticism of CGI on some cultural belief in ownership of women's bodies? Is that what it is, or are people just seriously like, hey, the CGI doesn't look good? Can we no longer sit around rationally and discuss even CGI as long as it's a woman that's being CGI'd? Or can we be realistic and say people have obviously been complaining about the CGI coming out from Marvel for some time now, and about the Marvel VFX artists being overworked. Now, when they're overworked on a man, that's not somehow culture believing, society believing they have cultural ownership of a man's body. When they don't do a good job on a car, or a building or some other object, that's not culture believing some sort of, like they have some sort of collective ownership of that particular car or anything like that. It simply is what it is. Let's be honest and straightforward. The simplest explanation is usually the logical and obvious explanation, and that is people see the CGI and they don't think it looks quite right. Maybe they can't always elaborate on why, but I think we can all agree it's not quite right. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to continue to smash the narrative of people like, let's just say She-Hulk directors like Kat Coiro, then smash the like, subscribe, and share buttons, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day.